Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I want to talk about Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition and why you should crusade for people to play this game. So we've landed in an interesting place. I think we've landed in an interesting place in American culture where there is an absolute detest for hierarchy. I get it. I understand. Because the top of the hierarchy has been abused so often, people just don't like there to be, leaders and followers. It's just, they really detest it. And I definitely understand why. It is quite understandable. But one of the things that's interesting is we, yeah. So I definitely get that, but we definitely have landed in a place where it's quite necessary, and it's difficult to understand how we're going to structure things without leaders and followers going forward. So one, if you crusade for your game, if you crusade for Dungeons and Dragons 5th Edition, you're doing and you're saying, hey, I want you to play this game, right? One, it's a zero-sum game, right? Everybody's like, oh, you can do everything you want. You can't, right? This life has very real realities as far as limitations. And one of the biggest limitations is time. Everybody just has a limited amount of time. You can't do every hobby you want. You have to choose, right? Billiards. I love billiards. I'm never going to be good at billiards. I'm never going to put amount of time on it that it deserves. Indeed. So you're never going to be able to do all the things you want. So you have to make choices. You have to move forward, right? And basically, in order to get people to play our game, we have to say, put down your knitting needles. I want you to play less board games. I definitely want you to play less video games. I would, if you never play another video game in your life and you do nothing but read Dungeons and Dragons books and play games and Dungeon Master, I will be happy. Right? Like, you are saying, I want your time, right? And in American culture, this is becoming very hard for people to be willing to say or do. Thank you. And so with that, like, basically, because you're saying, I want you to stop doing what you're doing and give me your time, right? Now, a lot of people, they pretend this isn't a reality. They're like, oh, everybody can knit and play board games and play billiards and play ping pong and do Dungeons and Dragons too. No, they can't, right? Especially Dungeons and Dragons, right? Once you get into Dungeons and Dragons, you got a lot of work to do, right? You got 750 pages of content to read. You gotta create your own world. You gotta make sure you can understand cartography and botany and do accents, right? Like, or not. You don't have to do that last one. In fact, you probably shouldn't. I've done videos on that. So basically, the reason why I'm saying all this is I recently saw Joe Rogan, brilliant, and I think Joe Rogan, is a modern sage. Like, we recognize sage as a background within Dungeons and Dragons, and if there's a sage on the planet, it is Joe Rogan. And he said something recently. He's like, you're going to be out there and you're going to do hard work, okay? And you're going to strive, right? And he said the people who are doing well today are people who get into their work hard, right? And do not look left or right and complain about those around them. It's just people who are working on their own thing and trying to make their own thing go, and stop complaining about what others are doing around them, right? And then he said, but once you get on that track and you're really pushing hard, right, and you are doing a good job of making sure that you are working hard and being productive, you're going to need to relax, and you need something that you care about, something that you can invest your time in, some other interest, right? We have the best one in the world. It's better than sports. It's better than video games. It's better than knitting. And we need them. We need to recruit them. We need to crusade for them and say, your knitting stinks compared to Dungeons and Dragons. Playing your soccer league is not worth the time you're investing, but Dungeons and Dragons is worth the time you're investing. I know you like to bird. This is better. You got to come over here, right? We need to crusade for Dungeons and Dragons. And the reason why is we have the special sauce. What we have is truly epic and real and better. And it is something that is going from inception to manifestation. It's not even fully realized yet. But it deals with American culture. It deals with this really special thing. Like, people used to talk about schizophrenia, right? player engaged Dungeons and Dragons players have 30 people in their head, different sets of memory, different sets of speech and cadence, different epic moments that they enjoy, right? What used to be this debilitating situation is something that we're tooling and systematizing, right? We have the best hobby in the world. It's time to crusade for it. It's time to reject the idea that we don't have better. We do have better. Let's get out there. Let's get players for what we want. And that does mean we're saying this is better and that's worse, right? But I think it's worth it. We need to do it, right? That's my take. What do you think? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you think that anybody in the world should knit rather than play Dungeons & Dragons? I'd love to hear your defense of that. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.